Hey guys, in this video we're going to be taking a look at some other non-Mendelian traits and things like that. So the first one we're going to be taking a look at is something called sex-linked. So let's take a look at this problem here. It says male pattern baldness is a recessive gene located on the X chromosome. If your mother is a carrier and your father does not have baldness, determine your chances of developing male pattern baldness. First, write out the genotypes. All right, so when we're dealing with sex-linked traits, we are always going to be dealing with our sex chromosomes. So for a female, it would be XX, and for a male, it would be XY, okay? Now, when we're talking about sex-linked traits, the majority of them are only going to be found on the X chromosome. That's because the X chromosome is much, much larger than the Y chromosome, so the Y chromosome has very few genes on it, and the X has a lot of genes on it. It says here that your mother is a carrier for male pattern baldness. A carrier, you should be thinking of heterogeneous when you think of a carrier, okay? So if you are a heterozygous, it looks like this. Big B, little b. Mom is not bald, but mom carries the bald allele. Dad is normal, so he's just a big B. All right, so we're going to set up our Punnett square. We're going to put the male on top. I'm going to set up our female on the left side. And notice the Y allele, the Y chromosome there, it did not get any genes on it attached to it. All right, so we're going to run our Punnett square. Our first one here is a female that is not bald. They're normal hair and they're not a carrier. Our second one is a male that is not bald. Our third one is a female that's not bald but is a carrier. And our fourth one is a male that is bald. Okay. The next thing we're going to take a look at is something called pedigrees. A pedigree is going to show how a trait moves through several generations of a family. Some things you should know. Circles are always females. These squares are always males. If they have the trait, if it's phenotypically showing, they're going to be colored in. And if they don't have the trait, they're just going to be a white square usually. Okay? So in this one here, we're taking a look at eye color. Blue eyes are recessive and brown eyes are dominant. Okay, so we can see here that this number 2 person here, they are brown eyes and they are a male, and we can see it's heterozygous. We actually could say that they're a carrier. So let's take a look at a couple of these. We know that number 2 is brown eyes male. Let's go to number 6. That's a female and they have brown eyes. Let's go to number 8. Number 8 is a female with brown eyes. Number 9 is a male with blue eyes because it's all the way colored in. And number 14 is a female with blue eyes because it's all the way colored in. Let's figure out some genotypes, okay? Genotype of number 1, well, that's pretty easy, right? It's blue eyes, so it has to be double recessive. Number 5, same idea, blue eyes because it's double recessive. Number 8, well, we know number 8 has to have at least one big B, right? But what's the other one? Is it this? Heterozygous? Are we sorry, homozygous? Probably not. Take a look at the kids, right? The offspring. 13, 14, and 15 are all little b, little b. They get one from mom and they get one from dad. We know the number 7 here is dad. Dad sent that one. So mom must also send this, a little b. So it can't be homozygous. All right, let's take a look at number 4. Okay, number 4. What's number 4? Well, we know that it gets one little b from mom, and it has to have a big B because it's brown. So figuring out genotypes, sometimes you have to look at the parents of the offspring, and sometimes you have to look at the actual offspring that are created, like we did in number 8. Okay? The other thing that we talk about is something called polygenetic traits. Polygenetic, the word poly means many, and these are traits that are controlled by more than one gene. So skin color is an example of that. It's controlled by more than one gene. So it's not as simple as saying, yes, you have it, no, you don't have it. You have to actually look at several genes in order to understand the skin color. All right, so if you're having any trouble with any of these, make sure you rewatch this video. Make sure you watch Mendelian Genetics Part 1 as well.